welcome back to the Rebuilt Parish podcast. On today's episode, we've got Henry White, not related to, but the assistant to Father Michael White, our pastor at Church of the Nativity. Henry shares about his faith journey, about how he supports Father Michael, and how having a supportive team around the pastor makes the whole parish better. We'll see you inside the episode. Well, hey, Henry, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Melissa, thank you for having me.
Well, this is exciting that you've been here before with Father Michael a time or two, and this is our first time where it's just you and I talking, so this is fun.
I know, yeah. Who would have thought?
I know. Now, this is what I'm excited for you to share today, your story and how you got involved at Nativity and how you support the parish and Father Michael. So first question, because I think that this is so interesting, is you stepped into this role right out of college. What first stirred your interest in serving the parish in this particular way?
Well, funny thing is about that, just whole story in general, is that if you would have told me, when I entered into college, Henry, you're going to be working for a church once you graduate, I would have looked at you dead in your eyes and called you crazy, because I would have never have thought that I would be doing this. But it wasn't really until the end of my sophomore year. I went to VMI, the Virginia Military Institute, and it wasn't until the end of my sophomore year where I really began to question, Christ, God, did I want to be within the faith or not? And a good friend of mine, his name is Solomon, he just so happened to be in the right place at the right time and showed me this beautiful illustration. And from there, he began to start discipling me, wow. I guess I would say. And, he would invite me to some Bible studies and I would go to some, I would come up with excuses to not go to others. And that was the end of sophomore year. Going into my junior year, he reached back out to me, even though I wasn't loyal to him to begin with. And that was the biggest thing for me, because I love loyalty. That's my biggest thing. And so I made a promise to myself and to him that I would go to all of those Bible studies with him.
Wow.
And it didn't take long for me to become obsessed with Christ and the faith and all that stuff. But when I came back to the faith, I came back in a very Protestant evangelical way, being in the South. And I was actually tempted to leave the Catholic Church. And that almost started a World War III in my household. But that
I get that. I've got some of my own stories about that. So we'll have to chat offline about some of those.
Oh, absolutely. And so my junior year, I really became on fire for God and Christ. And I was reading the Bible every day. And I was really in my honeymoon phase with the Lord. And so that was my junior year. Going into my senior year, I was at risk at not going back to school. I didn't realize it, but the whole story itself is just crazy and insane. But God really is the one who came out last minute and made sure that everything that was supposed to happen happened perfectly.
Wow.
And I graduated, but before all that, I really fought back and forth with the Catholic Church. That was really within my senior year. And so as I went about learning about the Catholic Church, I had my Protestant buddies telling me what the Catholic Church does wrong. And I'm well, I feel I should try to defend what they're doing, even though I, at that time, didn't agree. And I started doing my own research. I'm wait a minute. This stuff is the truth.
Yes.
I can't deny this. And then it didn't take long for me to fall in love with the Catholic Church. So then by the time my senior year came around and everything like that, I was talking to a buddy of mine and he asked me, what do you plan on doing after you graduate? And I said, honestly, I have no idea. Upon the diploma, all I see is a black veil. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. So he said, have you prayed about it? I was no, but that's a really good idea. I should probably do that.
Yep.
And so I started praying on it. And within 2 weeks, throughout this 2-week time frame, I'm looking at different government jobs, but for some reason, for me personally, I wasn't interested. And then out of nowhere, my sister calls me and says, hey, Henry, there's a job opening at Nativity to be Father Michael's assistant. Would you be interested? And all of a sudden, this desire that I didn't have looking for these other jobs popped in, like really just fueled my fire. And I went through the interview process and now I'm here.
Oh my gosh. I remember that interview process for you. And I remember hearing people say, this guy named Henry is coming on. He's still a senior, but he's like very excited. And I remember that you would come back and work on breaks, like even though you weren't even graduated yet, like you were just so excited that you would come back here. And I got to meet you before you even graduated and were working full time. You were already in the mix and getting involved, which is just incredible.
It was amazing. But I'll tell you what, it was a gift and a curse. And I say that because it was a gift because I was so excited to come work for Nativity. But then it was also a curse because I had a job going into my second semester. That's 15 weeks. So it's like I was checked out like this.
Yep.
It's like, Henry, you just got to do the things right that you need to do, graduate, and then you can start your career.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I resonate with that so much. That's, first of all, when you were joking and saying if someone had told you at the beginning of college that you would be working for a church, you would have called him a liar. You would have laughed at him, right? Same, like absolutely same. And also, I had a job lined up this summer, at the beginning of my senior year. And so it's so hard to finish out your senior year knowing that you could already, like, the job is secure. You're good.
It's so hard.
But you have to finish.
It's so hard.
So, Henry, you've had this incredible faith story. You've had this transformation happen inside, which is just incredible. Now, you've had the opportunity to be working so closely with Father Michael. So, how has that now shaped this next part of your faith and your relationship with the Lord?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I say that because you begin to watch people be impacted. Yeah. When I first came on, I don't really know what to expect at all. I don't know how, I've never been in church world, obviously. So being new to that, watching the amount of people impacted the way that they were was incredible. But then as I began to work longer and longer and longer at Nativity and began doing the daily practices and the small group podcasts, people started coming to me, talking to me about their, the things that they're struggling with.
Wow.
And I begin to think to myself, what an honor and a privilege that is to be able to help those people with the problems that they are struggling with. But then I also begin to think to myself, who am I that they're coming to me and telling?
Oh, don't let that doubt creep in right there.
No, yeah, it's a struggle. But then it also just makes me realize and remember that how much I need to depend on God, and I can't let people coming to me get to my head. Obviously, it's all in a good way, but it's I'm a sinner, and people are coming to me telling me. I'm like, what? I don't know how I'm going to be able to help you, but I obviously want to help you in the best way that I can. And I think that has really taken my faith to another level that I was not expecting.
Oh my gosh, Henry, that is true discipleship in action right there. You are helping people along their faith journey. And I think that's so incredible that God has placed you in this role so that you can use your specific gifting and your specific, learnings that you've had and experiences that you've had to turn around and help people.
Right.
I love that. Now, let's talk about, you get a really unique vantage point getting to be assistant to the pastor. Now, not everybody gets to see all of the things that you get to see. So what are some of those unseen pressures or responsibilities that pastors carry that most parishioners never even realized?
I would say the realization that the pastor, or in my case, Father Michael, he's one person.
Yep.
He is one man, and he has a large congregation. He loves everyone in the congregation, but it's hard for him to give his attention to all of the congregation. And then I think that's one of the things that I've really learned. And if I were to put myself in his shoes, that would be a pressure that I don't know how I could handle.
Right.
Because obviously you love everyone and you want everyone to receive that attention and feel like they are the only person in the room. But in reality, it's challenging and it's hard. And having a staff to help you with that is so massive. And that's a really big unseen pressure that I have come to learn. And now if I were to go to another like Catholic church just to visit it or whatever reason, I have a deeper appreciation for the pastor and all the people running up to him and trying to talk to him and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna leave him be. I'm just gonna
100%. I don't even like shake my pastor's hand after mass because I'm like, I'm not going to be one of those people standing in line. I know he's busy enough.
Yeah, he's busy and these people want us. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is a great point. And I think one of the beautiful things that Father Michael has done to help support this is he's built this beautiful team around him that all of you all help to step in. And just like you were talking about, people who have now seen you on the daily practice, they feel like, oh, that's Henry. I know him, right? Like they feel connected to you. So rather than going right to Father Michael, which a lot of people and a lot of Catholic parishes would just try and go right to the pastor because they're not familiar with the staff, but they're familiar with you, with Tom, with Dave, with Charlie, with everybody that they feel like, oh, I can go talk to you. And that helps take a lot of that strain off of the pastor.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a massive help. And you make more of an impact that way.
For sure. I mean, we could go into small groups too. Like that's why we've got small groups too, to help pastorally care for one another, to also take some of that pressure off of the pastor.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about why it is so important for pastors to have this intentional support around them. So talk to us about why it's important spiritually, practically, and relationally too.
Wow, that's a phenomenal question. So one of the first things that come to my mind, and I'm gonna alter this in a slight way, because when I read the Bible, I think about how Jesus told Peter that on this rock he will build the church, and Peter is that rock of the church, him becoming the first pope and everything. Now, if we were to take that and apply it to the pastor at their parish, the pastor is like the rock of the parish. Mm-hmm. They are the foundation. Christ is the cornerstone, but they are the rock, and they're really dependent on. And so when it comes to this, it's critical to have that staff and that surrounding to support him so he can be that rock for other people. It allows him to maintain his deep, spirituality with Christ and whatnot. So that way, when everything that he does can be done in a spiritual manner. Yes. One of the things that I really think about too is last year during Easter, and this is a part of the reason why I am reflecting on it in this way. During Easter, I believe it was Good Friday, Bishop Parker was celebrating, and one of the things that he said to myself and the sacristan serving was, "Thank you for the work that you guys have put in." He goes, when the celebrant has to put in all of that work, it's hard for them to do what they do prayerfully.
Yes.
And so they were able to go through prayerfully that whole time. And they are able to resemble that Christ-like figure for the people listening and paying attention. And that's such a massive and practical thing that pastors need.
Oh my gosh, for sure. Because only they can do the things that they do when it comes to celebrating the Mass.
Absolutely.
We can't do that. We can support them in everything else. But wow, what an impactful statement. I love Bishop Parker. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
So good. Now, okay, so you talked a little bit now about having that right support that would free a pastor. So let's talk about now, by having that support, how it can help him lead more effectively and stay focused on the mission.
Yeah, so I think when it comes to that, everybody has gifts and abilities that they are stronger in, right? So what I'm good at, you may not be so great at. And what you're good at, I probably can't do. So when it comes to things like that, it's phenomenal to have that support, because then it allows the pastor to do what he's passionate about. And that passion is what can drive, I feel like, the church in such an upward direction to get where it needs to be. And it's very impactful that way.
Definitely. That's a great way to put it, too, that everybody brings their own gifts. And when we let people serve using their different gifts and talents, then it's not just going to support the pastor, but it's going to make the whole parish better, too.
Oh, absolutely. It allows the parish to run like a well-oiled machine the way that
Yes. Oh, my gosh, for sure. I have a heart for those parishes where their staff isn't there yet, because I've been there and it's a tricky situation.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get that right team with the right people who are all working effectively in their giftings, and then it frees the pastor up, oh my gosh, that is when beautiful things happen. It's incredible.
Oh, absolutely. It's truly remarkable what can happen.
Now, Henry, this is where I want a little peek behind the curtain. I want to know what a day in the life of Henry looks like. So what does it look like when you're supporting your pastor on the daily and weekly basis? Like, do you have different rhythms or systems or structures that you've found have been helpful to help keep things moving smoothly for your pastor?
No, absolutely. Yeah. So obviously, different rhythms and structures can vary based on parish to parish, but I know what I do day to day can really range seasonally. There are some days where my workload might be a little bit less. I know right now I'm more so in my busy season. So Michael, or Father Michael, and Tom are currently working on their new book. And so I help Father Michael with those book edits. I work on the book edits in the morning. And then after that, I really begin to help him format his message the way that he would like. And with it being Advent, I've written the first draft of the Advent series and the Christmas message. So I've really had my hands full in that sense.
Yes.
But one of the things that I really love too is that Father Michael really allows me to branch out and also do sort of my own thing as well. Because he allows me to do the daily practice, which is obviously separate. And he allows me to do the small group podcasts and the summer messages. It really ranges differently. And there are some days where it's a little less than others, but this is the season where I'm really ramped up.
When leadership is healthy, mission moves forward. When it's unclear or disconnected, everything stalls. That's why we created the Rebuilt Leadership Self-Evaluation, a simple, powerful tool to help your parish pause, reflect, and realign around what matters most. Inside, you'll walk through core questions about your mission, the clarity of your team, and the metrics you use to know whether you're actually accomplishing the work God entrusted to you. You'll name what's working, identify the gaps, and begin shaping practical next steps. Quick wins, long-term priorities, and the big rocks that will strengthen your parish leadership from the inside out. If you're ready for more focus, healthier teams, and leadership rooted in mission, download the Leadership Self-Evaluation today at rebuiltparish.com/leadership evaluation.
Yeah.
Right. So right now, this is airing in the new year, but everybody listening is in church world. So you know that we get really busy during the weeks of Christmas. So we're recording way before that. But I think, Henry, what's awesome is that you're supporting him by being that other set of eyes, helping him with his message, knowing him so well that you know how he's going to want the message literally set up on the paper. So it's easy for him to look at his notes, which
exactly.
It takes, it takes some time and a special bond to be able to know that about somebody. But I also love that he's like, Henry, I know you've got that you want to utilize your gifts and talents to serve the parish in other ways. And here are some ways that you can do that. And I think that's incredible.
Oh, it's truly a blessing to, every day isn't the same. And I'm really grateful for that, because I feel like that could maybe just get a little mundane at times, at least from my personality.
Right.
And having the ability to do that is just really such a blessing.
That's awesome. Now, I'm looking for an example here. Can you share a moment when you saw firsthand how having that pastoral support strengthened the parish or made a meaningful difference?
Yeah, I think that this is really the question that you want to talk about small groups. I think small groups are really foundational, and I'm really not just saying that. I've witnessed that firsthand just from my own personal experience. Because I'll be totally honest, I was really hesitant on joining a small group. I probably have worked here for a year and a couple months, and I was like, I don't really want to join a small group, and I really had to like prayerfully like think about that. And the reason why is because when I was at VMI, I developed such strong friendships, and I would say I developed such a brotherhood with my friends that I didn't think could be replicated.
Oh.
And so I really pushed away from the idea of being in a small group. And eventually, over time, like it took over a year, like I just mentioned, of me pushing away from it, where finally I was like, all my friends from VMI are now in another state. I can't hang out with them on the weekends. I can't see them during the week. Like, this is hard. I can talk to them over FaceTime, but that's not the same. I need to create a type of brotherhood. I need to create a type of fellowship that I wasn't receiving before. So finally, I caved, and joining a small group was one of the best things I could have done. Because I have like all these friends now, and it was really nice because like 2 weekends ago, I was able to contact one of the guys in my small group. I was like, hey, I'm really bored. Do you want to go for a hike? Yeah, let's do it. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Rather than sitting at my house being bored with like no friends in sight to hang out with, I was able to go do that. And that was just so relieving. And that really built my own support system.
Oh my
for
gosh.
me. And I can only imagine what that's done for other people.
Yes. And I think what I love hearing about this is from your perspective in Gen Z. So we are hearing that, of course, the Catholic Church is having a resurgence, which is so exciting. Absolutely. And it's very specific in your generation. It is booming, which is awesome. But I love hearing you say, I was bored and I was lonely, because that's one of the things that we're hearing is that loneliness. And we know that loneliness is an epidemic, but having that small group right there, that is the cure. That is the medicine for that loneliness, and that lifted you up. Like, how amazing.
Big time. And that was always one of my like biggest struggles. And yeah, I couldn't be more grateful. And I think that that's really the small groups in general are that pastoral support.
Yes.
And it's something that you may not necessarily get on a Sunday when you go to mass. You're sitting in the pews. But then when you're able to sit in the circle and, get to know other people, get to know your friends, you begin to develop this type of relationship that you can't get elsewhere. And I'm a big believer in thinking that if you want an intimate relationship with someone, you can't be more intimate than having a foundation with them in Christ.
Right.
And I've always thought that. And so, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, sorry, does it take you back to your days going to that Bible study with Solomon, like being in close relationship with those guys?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's one of the biggest ways that it opens me up, I guess, to really talk. And I've only had like those types of friendships when I was at VMI going to those Bible studies, and I didn't have that coming in. And when I started doing that, it was amazing. And I think what's really nice too is that like with my personality, if I don't know much about a specific topic, or if I'm not really interested in a specific topic, I may appear to be closed off. Mm-hmm. But in reality, it's like, I don't want to say something wrong, and I'm like overthinking all these different things. I'm not really thinking about it. But then it's so funny when, we get into a small group, or it's something Christ related or Bible related or church related, and I'm a whole different person. Like, you would think I'm an extrovert, but in reality, I'm more of an introvert.
This is the most engaged and excited I've ever seen. Like, I mean, this is exciting. I'm loving that this is the conversation.
Yeah, this right here is proof. This right here is proof.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my gosh, that is incredible. Now, Henry, our parish leaders out there want to learn from you. So, what are some simple ways that they can use, like that they can do to begin building stronger support around their own pastor?
yeah, I would say just do the best that you can in what you're good at.
Oh, that's so good.
And the reason why I say that, and Father Michael is phenomenal with this, he knows my strengths and he knows my weaknesses. So when it comes to my strengths, now he doesn't have to think much about that because he knows, okay, Henry will take care of it. Henry will get the job done. So now that is something that's been taken off his plate.
Oh, and that's so important.
Yes, that is, it's massive. And it's really one of the biggest things. So like for me personally, it's writing. Writing is one of the things that I can really excel at. So he gives me a good amount of writing to do. And so now he doesn't have to think much about it, which is great. And one of the things that I will say, this is more of just like a little side note. I find this part fun because if I'm writing something for him, what I find fun is when he receives that first draft, how much has changed. Because then if not a lot has changed, then it's like, okay, I'm sort of operating more on like his wavelength. He didn't have to think much about it.
Yeah.
Therefore, he's able to put his full and undivided attention into something else.
Hi, I'm Maria Politano from Rebuilt Parish. If you're longing to see real renewal in your parish, but you're not sure where to begin, you don't have to walk that path alone. Through Rebuilt Coaching, your parish is paired with 2 dedicated partner coaches who walk alongside you, encourage you, and help you to stay focused on what matters most, making disciples and strengthening your parish culture. We guide you through the Rebuilt anchors with a clear course and coaching rhythm that gives you structure, support, and practical steps you can take right away. If you're ready for clarity, direction, and a team committed to your parish's growth, learn more about Rebuilt Coaching at rebuiltparish.com/coaching.
That's so good because, I mean, think about how much he's got on his plate as a pastor. And he's got this incredible team around him, but that you can take something off where he doesn't even have to think about it. Like, oh, that's something I used to have to do on a weekly basis, and now Henry just handles it, which that's amazing.
Absolutely. So then it allows Father Michael to excel what he's phenomenal at.
Yes.
And it's
and in those things where only he can do too.
Exactly.
In those things. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Now, Henry, you mentioned that Father Michael operates where he knows what something that is a talent of yours or a gift that you've got, like he knows you're going to handle it. So think about what are some of those gifts or temperaments or dispositions that would make someone well suited for a role like yours in those things?
Yeah, I would say it's really needing to have a humble heart. I think that's really like the biggest thing. Because when he gives that amount of work to you, it's great. And, sometimes, like I've talked to a couple of people and I'll take it for granted. Obviously everyone complains about work in some way, shape or form. All right. So like no job is perfect, but sometimes I might be like, oh my goodness, like I have all this stuff on my plate right now. Like I just need a little bit of help. And then I have someone else saying, Henry, I am jealous of you that you get to write this message. Like, oh my goodness. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, like this is really like a big privilege. And
it really is.
It humbles you in that way. And that, God would allow me to be that person to do that type of stuff. So yeah, really having an attitude that is willing to go the next step. The next step is really the biggest and most important thing.
In those things, I love that. And Henry, I just keep thinking back to your conversion story, how in all of that and all of that wrestling with your faith first and then wrestling with the Catholic Church second, and how that led you to this role where now you're helping to write the message that thousands of people are going to get to hear every single week and then take home and talk about with their family and their small group. I mean, that's incredible that you were shaped in this way for that role.
I actually have a funny story. I was just talking about this yesterday with my girlfriend. Um, I find this so funny. She brought this to my attention. She goes, "Hey Henry, do you remember when, like, within your first year working at Nativity, like they had you write the messages like for Advent and even the Christmas message?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Have you ever thought about how you hadn't even been there for a year and they allowed you to write a message series and then the Christmas message?"
Like the big one where 5,000 people come in person.
Exactly. Each mass too. So
Yeah.
so 10,000 people. And I sat there and I thought about that for a minute. And because I like to reflect on the past to like see where God was really working. And I was like, oh my goodness. I would talk to Allison and I would say, I just want to do more. Like I want more on my plate. I want to like prove myself and all these different things. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I haven't even been there for a whole year and they let me write a series.
That's
like,
incredible.
Like they were crazy enough to allow me to do that. That's crazy. But I mean, it all worked out like for the best. And now I'm doing it again.
That is incredible. Well, it's God working through your giftings, and then having that humble heart, I think, is what's critical right there. Because for some people, that could go to their head, like, "Oh, I wrote all the messages, and he just says them." Right? That's huge that you've got such humility around all of that.
It's truly a test of humility as well. So it's definitely it's I can't describe it to be anything else other than a blessing.
Yes, definitely. Well, Henry, as we wrap up, I'd love to hear what gives you hope for the future of parish leadership, and how do support roles like yours help build healthier, stronger parishes?
I think, like you mentioned this earlier, there's a big movement that's currently working right now in the Catholic Church where a lot of people are converting. I mean, record-breaking numbers that's going on currently in the present. And I think what makes that really well done is the fact that we will have more passionate people just continuing to work for the parishes. And within that realm in itself, they will be able to do what they are good at, which will then take things off of the pastor's plate, which will allow them to grow.
Definitely. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier, everybody serving in their gifting.
Absolutely.
It makes a huge difference. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Well, Henry, I'm so glad we got to have this conversation today. Thank you for pouring into our parish leaders, and I'm looking forward to us getting to do this again.
Yes, that would be great. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you once again, and thank you to our listeners. We'll see you next time.